Hi Guy, today we're having a look at something called Fearless on the Oculus Rift. Now this literally has just come out very recently. Experience may be uncomfortable or frightening to some viewers. Please continue at your own risk. Look here and tap and get the remote. There we go.
Welcome to Fearless.
Oh,
I'm here to help you overcome your fear of spiders. My goal is not to surprise or overwhelm you, and you will be able to proceed through the levels at your own pace.
good.
We're going to begin with a cartoon drawing of a spider on the TV. Please tap when you're ready.
Okay.
Not too bad, right? Now, as we move forward, the most important thing you'll learn is that a little bit of discomfort or anxiety is good, as long as you use it to your advantage. We'll get into more detail later, but the basic idea is that when you successfully face your fears, you'll learn to overcome them, whereas when you shy away from your fears, you learn to be more afraid. Don't worry, the next step is just a big version of the same drawing. Go ahead and tap. Before we move on, let's talk a little bit about your fear of spiders. First of all, you're in good company. More than 35% of people are afraid of spiders.
And right,
in fact,
so.
it's one of the most common fears. You may be afraid of getting bitten, but you also may have any number of other reasons for your fear. You may be freaked out by the way they look or move or their legginess. You may be nervous about how your mind or body will react when you see a spider. You may have had a traumatic experience, or you may have picked up the fear from your parents. You may not know exactly why you're afraid of spiders, and that's completely normal too. So, if you don't mind, I'd love to ask you just a few questions along the way.
There we go.
Your responses will be recorded using your built-in microphone and sent to us so we can improve the Fearless experience.
Okay, that's
If you
interesting.
prefer not to answer, you can just tap instead of talking. Tap for the first question. My first question is, how uncomfortable are you with spiders? You can start with a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being your worst nightmare. But please add as much detail as you'd like about your fear. I'll start recording now.
65, and just because they look horrible.
Thanks. Next is a more realistic drawing. Go ahead and tap when you're ready.
Okay.
Let's say this drawing makes you a little anxious. Normally, you might react by looking away, leaving the room, concentrating on another object, or thinking about something else. Try not to do any of these things. Whenever you avoid the thing you fear, your brain never learns that it can handle the anxiety, and that the anxiety will gradually decrease if given the chance.
Okay, that's smart.
If you feel anxious or uncomfortable at any step, try to embrace that feeling and wait for the anxiety to decrease before continuing. You don't have to go to the next level right when I finish talking. If you do need to stop at any point because you are feeling overwhelmed or you get interrupted, the most important thing is that you come back and continue. Otherwise, you're just reinforcing your fear. If you leave and come back, you can quickly tap through the first levels if you don't need them anymore. Now we'll look at a photo of a spider. You can tap whenever you're ready. Sometimes it helps to learn a bit about the
Gross.
thing you're afraid of. This is a photo of a yellow garden spider, which is common in the US. See the zigzag pattern in its web? That's called a stabilimentum, and many spiders make a design like this, although we're not completely sure why. It may help attract insects or male spiders for mating by reflecting ultraviolet light. It also may be designed to make the web more visible to birds so they don't fly through it. I want to quickly show you one more photo of a more elaborate stabilimentum. Go ahead and tap.
There you go.
Even if you hate spiders, maybe you can appreciate the evolution that went into such a creation. Next time you see a spider web in real life, try to look at it more closely than you normally would. As long as we're learning about spiders, you might be wondering how dangerous they really are. Well, it may surprise you to learn that only about 5 people in the US die each year from spider bites, That's 10 times less common than deaths by lightning. In Australia, there have been no spider deaths in more than 35 years. Very few species of spiders are dangerous to humans, and most spiders prefer to keep to themselves. While it may be helpful to learn that spiders are not very dangerous, usually that isn't enough to get over your fear. Generally, you need to learn from personal experience that you can be in the presence of a spider without anything bad happening. That's why we're here. Now it's time to face a real spider on the table. It's very small and will stay on the far half of the table. Ready? Go ahead and tap.
See, my skin is already starting to crawl. Bloody hell. I don't deal with spiders.
This first spider will stay on the far half of the table.
Gross.
If you're feeling uncomfortable, that's okay. Let's try to stay on this level until your discomfort decreases to a minimal level. It's important that we give your brain time to learn that it can handle and even become comfortable in this situation. Now, let's talk about some things that could prevent your brain from learning to handle the fear. A lot of people, when faced with something they fear, engage in something called safety behaviors. Safety behaviors are simply things you might do to avoid having to face your fear head-on. Let's say you encountered this spider in real life and felt anxious. What might you do? Perhaps you would move farther away from the spider or leave the room. Maybe you would kill the spider or ask someone else to kill it. In our present situation, you might lean back in your chair, or you might tell yourself that the spider is not real. If the levels get more intense, you might take the headset off and choose not to come back. All of these behaviors make you feel better in the short term, but they also rob you of the chance to get over your fear. So, as we progress through these more challenging levels, try to avoid safety behaviors. Embrace the fear. By the way, this may be the first time in a long time that you've seen a spider and not immediately tried to avoid it or kill it. That's a huge step. Once you're ready, I'd like to ask you about your experience with this level. There's no rush. Tap when ready.
Moving on. This is going to cure my favourite spiders. This is brilliant. And it's free.
I'm interested to know how you felt about that spider. Did you feel uncomfortable at first? Did your discomfort decrease after some time? You can add as much detail as you'd like.
Yes, skin felt a bit crawly, a bit anxious. It didn't really decrease by the end. They're just gross.
Thanks. Now you've seen how Fearless works, and you're starting to successfully face your fear. To complete the experience and try to overcome your fear of spiders, there's a one-time in-app purchase. Compare that to living with your fear. We've discounted the price as a thanks for being an early user of Fearless. You'll be brought to Oculus Home for the purchase, and then you'll be redirected back here.
Well guys, it seems it was only a demo, but I'll have to say my skin was really... I don't do well with spiders, and I'm not my biggest fear, but they're up there, they're just horrible. But that could be an actual very good experience. That's a great demo. I'll have to try it out and see what you think. Well, as always, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll post another video soon.